as you can see, I'm going to wait for the comments to show up. I feel like there's always like a little lag before I see the comments. So I always want to make sure.
I'm not going to see it on my end, right?
Do you see the private chat column?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see next to it? You can click on comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see it. So you could see your link is there right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when people come in and start saying hi, which I feel like takes a couple minutes, then that's where we're going to see all the comments. So I'm going to wait till more people are on before we talk about ourselves.
I was just watching more Fresh and Fit.
Yeah, everyone. Lana's going to be on Fresh and Fit tomorrow.
Lord help me.
Are you guys on yet? Say hi if you're on. So we know we're not. Okay. So somebody's like, hello. Okay. So today is a very special episode. For those of you that don't know, hi, Veronica. She's the best. You need to connect with Veronica. She's like another OnlyFans girl that like comes on the streams.
Oh, nice. Hi, Veronica.
Really sweet. Found you through Soft White Underbelly. Yeah. So, okay. Announcements. One, I was on Soft White Underbelly. It's on the YouTube. It's on their YouTube channel. Go check out the interview if you haven't yet. Announcement number 2, Lana is going to go on Fresh and Fit tomorrow, and she's going to kick ass. So you guys should go. If you're ever going to watch Fresh and Fit again in your life after the episode I was on, it should be tomorrow. And then we can all never watch it again.
Yeah. Be nice in the comments.
Having a life. Found you through Reddit. Reddit is the spot. Although Reddit has been sucking for sex work recently.
Oh my goodness, seriously.
So for those of you that actually don't know, when I first started the streams, it was actually with Lana, and it didn't used to be called Thoughts with Thoughts. It used to be called Shit Persian Girls Say, because I'm Persian, Lana's half Persian, and that was like how this all started. And then Lana got busy with other things, so then I just continued it and did my own thing. But we are taking it back to the original Shit Persian Girls Say today. Also, you guys should check her out. I pinned her link on the stream. Oh, Lana is an OG, huh? Yeah, she's an OG. So those of you that have been with me, who has been here long enough that they remember when me and Lana used to be on together? Because I feel like, what was it, like last July, August?
I know. I miss some of the guys that
they're on here. They're usually, some people.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah, not yet. But today I will be live on my OnlyFans right after. If you guys want to see more titties and less talking, or kind of titties and talking, Lana goes live on her OnlyFans too. I don't think she's doing one right after this, but she actually. How often do you go live on your OnlyFans?
On my OnlyFans?
Yeah.
So since I started doing lives on TikTok again, I'm going on more. Like it was like once a week. Now it's like 3 times a week.
Okay, so she goes 3 times a week. That's more than me. I do once a week.
If I can.
Her link is there. You could just go to Lana Bhad, lanabhad.com, and that's all her socials. And you guys already know jasminejafar.me. We could have the moderator throw it up on the screen. I was literally going to ask you if I'm going to go live on OnlyFans at 8 p.m. Pacific, so in about an hour and a half. So yeah, check that. That's my beacons. Lana's is pinned in the chat. Check us both out. We're sexy, and yeah, we're fun. Today we actually are going to talk about, I guess, some like fresh and fitty topics. If you guys have a topic you guys are curious about, like about OnlyFans, about why we do what we do, like we can even do like a Q&A if you guys have a Q&A for like OnlyFans girls instead of like a designated topic. I was going to talk about objectification, but I'm going to move that to next week so that we can enjoy our time with Miss Lana here. If you could be
always with you. We always enjoy our time together.
Exactly. We're actually really good friends now. So we actually met because we both do OnlyFans. And we met in person for the first time on the Whatever podcast, the first time I was on. So I was on like a week and a half ago, but I was also on, do you remember when we were on? What was it, like
July
16th?
Yeah, like 14th.
Right. Yeah, 14th or 16th, we were on together. And like we met up in California, and we like it was like we were super close just right off the bat seeing each other. And
Yeah.
I go back to Florida in a couple weeks. Once your hurricane is out the way.
Oh my God.
We'll be doing like streams together and stuff
Yeah.
too. Hey. Okay. So we've got a couple questions. If you could be any animal, what would you be and why? If I could be any animal, I don't know. I guess, okay, if I could be any animal, I would be an eagle because I watch like a bunch of animal documentaries and the eagle seems like they have like the best life. Like they don't have any like predators, but they have a really easy time catching prey. It looks like every other animal is fucking struggling. Like they are doing the most to eat, and eagles seem like they're just chilling. So I would say eagle. What about you?
I'm like almost there with you because I would say an owl because owls are also amazing predators. I like night more than day.
Yeah, you're a night owl? Okay. Is there a book you could read over and over again without ever growing tired of it? Do you have one? I don't like to rewatch movies, shows, or reread books. I don't know why. I feel like there's so many books.
There's okay, like if you read like a book that's like has like a storyline to it, it's gonna be hard to read it over and over because you know what happens.
Yeah.
So I can't say any books that I like that I would read over and over again, which I do like books like that. So for me, it would have to be like a self-help type of book, like mastery
Yeah,
of
self-help or like informational book. I might go back to a paragraph or go back to a chapter that I want to reread, but cover to cover, I feel like there's books on my list that I want to read and I have limited time. Like I will never read all the books I want to read. Like I'm gonna die, even if I live to be like 120.
You have to retire at some point.
So many amazing books out there.
Just so you can read.
I personally don't like rereading cover to cover.
Same.
Each book. What are we talking today? We are having a special Lana episode. We're going to talk about feminism. I really like this question. Someone said, I'm really interested in how you would define misogyny. A lot of people just say it is the hatred of women, but I've never met too many men who don't hate women, but are definitely misogynistic. So do you want to answer it or should I go
How would
first?
you define misogyny?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's thinking you're superior to women when we're just different. It's not someone is superior and someone's inferior.
I would say misogyny goes hand in hand with something. So hostile sexism is something that's been studied, and hostile sexism is kind of like what Lana said, where you assume that traits about a woman that are negative traits. So women are opportunistic, women are manipulative, women are weak, women are inferior. That kind of hostile sexism, I think, is misogyny. Now, the question is so there's also benevolent sexism. Benevolent sexism is like, and I think Lana would be a fan of benevolent sexism. So benevolent sexism is like, okay, like opening the door for you and like kind of chivalry can kind of be.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And it's funny because my dad is the king of benevolent sexism.
Sorry. The cat is interfering.
He's the king of benevolent sexism. So like I grew up with a lot of that, but philosophically speaking, like there's no reason I think to like treat women like delicate little princesses, although I am a delicate little princess. Now I wouldn't consider it misogyny though to be like that, but I would consider hostile sexism, which is like you're a woman, you're emotional, you're a woman, you don't know how to think critically. Basically, Fresh and Fit, which Lana's going on tomorrow, could be like the poster for what I consider to be misogyny. But I just made that up off the fly. I kind of want to look up the actual definition.
Wait, you made up
No. I didn't make up benevolent and hostile sexism, but I made up what I consider misogyny to be. But now I'm interested in what the like official, dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. Yeah, so it's kind of that negative, those negative views of women. So I would say it's synonymous kind of with hostile sexism.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What kind of books are you into? I love philosophy and psychology.
I'm just like into fantasy stuff. I like
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I mean, I don't get to read as much as I used to because I'm a mom and it's just hard to find the time. But usually like I would just read like anything like murder mysteries, literary pieces, you know, and then like just nonfiction stuff and like or yeah, I mean science fiction. It's all over the
I'm
board.
trying to get into like hard science books, but I can't. I
Hard science.
like I'm trying to read about like black holes and shit, like trying to understand like the
Oh,
world and in like the heart, because I really like the philosophy and like talking about ethics and morality and how to engage with one another. It's psychology,
you want to
but
like switch it up.
sciences like physics, like quantum mechanics, I feel like I want to understand better because some of it is intertwined with some of the other stuff I like to talk about. Like my views on religion and all that, but it's so hard. My brain just
Look
doesn't.
who's here, Hazard Stint. Hey,
My moderator says you could send me some chem textbooks. No textbooks, please. Let's try. I'm the kind of person I could read like a philosophy textbook, but science needs to be fun. Like I need a fun like science for people who don't like science books. Textbooks.
So like a kid book with like pictures in it.
I feel like if
they should have that.
Here, like I think
sciencey.
Neil Tyson DeGrassi or whatever his name is. I really like his lectures, and I want to try out one of his books. I haven't yet, but like somebody who can get my attention and talk about
Someone
science.
recommend her a really good book.
Yeah, let's do that. If you have one day left to live, what would you do first? These questions are really weird to me because honestly, if I have one day to live, we'd all be freaking out. Like nobody has like a pleasant like, oh, okay, I just found out I have one day to live. Let me go live it up. I would just do a shit ton of drugs. And I don't even do like a lot of drugs because that's the only thing that would calm my fucking anxiety and give me like a false sense of like a false dopamine like rush so that I'm not just like staring at the clock like with my family members like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to see you and just saying goodbye to everybody, right?
You're going to have a party. You're going to party.
Yeah, so I have to just fuck, and it's like I have no responsibility, so I'm gonna just do like I would probably do fucking like heroin if I was sure I was gonna die.
Because that one doesn't even sound fun to me.
It doesn't, but I would, or shrooms or like a psychedelic, something that would make me like not just freak out saying bye to everybody, because otherwise I don't understand when people are like, I would go and see the world, or I would go on a trip in
one day.
You'd be freaking out. Yeah. So I don't know. Men are stronger, that's a fact. So no, I don't think that misogyny is speaking on the differences between men and women. I don't think that's misogynistic, and I hate that sometimes in certain spaces that is automatically labeled as misogyny. I think that hurts our case a lot. But when it's in a negative way. So if you say men are physically stronger than women, that's not a negative thing about women. I don't think somebody is superior just because they're physically stronger.
Yeah.
But if you're like, you're weak and you're not good for anything, or you're less valuable because you're weaker, that to me is misogyny.
That's crazy. Sorry, I have to get this.
People actually think like that. Ooh. Star Womb, she's in here too. Oh, love her. I love everybody in here, but when other girls are in here.
This little thing is distracting.
So Lana, I just said it hurts our case. I was kind of talking about feminism. Now, you don't identify as a feminist. So what does feminist mean to you, and why don't you consider yourself a feminist?
I think there's different types of feminism. Mm-hmm. When I think of feminism, I think of like a lot of women that they want to be treated the exact same way as men. They don't want doors to be held open. They get offended by it. Like I like that they actually, a lot of feminists like look down on women who want to be a housewife.
Yeah.
And things like that.
So how would you define feminism?
Oh, define like the actual like.
Like, what would you define it as? And so why don't you subscribe to it with the definition that you're picking? Because like you said, feminism at this point can mean many things. And I don't like, for instance, the feminists who do look down on women who choose to stay home and raise kids, or traditional women. I don't subscribe to that. Or the rad femmes who hate sex work and think that that's, they're trying to stop it for everybody, thinking that we don't have the right to make those choices about our own body. I don't subscribe.
But then that so negates like women do what they want.
So their argument is, oh, well, we work so hard so that we don't only, and they kind of make the case of it's exploitation no matter what, which I think is crazy. Like they say, for instance, like paying, like if you're a prostitute, like let's say you actually are escort, the fact that somebody's paying you to have sex when you don't want to have sex is exploitative in nature, even though I think you could say that about any job. Like if I worked at a fast food restaurant, I wouldn't make you a burger unless I was getting paid for it. So what they're really saying is there's something inherent in having sex or displaying your sexuality, even in the way you and I do online, that's so exploitative that it shouldn't be allowed because it hurts women, it objectifies women, etc. Whereas pro-sex work feminists like myself say that what really matters is the woman's choice, her happiness, and her autonomy. And if she chooses to sexualize herself or she chooses to put her sexuality on display, you have no right to tell her. Someone like me, especially, I'm like the prime example of somebody that, because they're always like, these poor women, they don't have a choice, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, here's somebody who has all the choices in the world. And I still chose to do it. So who are you to tell me to pick a job that you want me to do? So that's those type of feminists. The definition that I subscribe to is the social, political, and economic equality of the genders. So
that's what it should be.
That's what it should be.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's everyone. I mean,
and that doesn't mean that we're the same, but it means I think we're equal. I think we should have the same choices. I think we should have the same options. I think we should have the same opportunities. But, it's turned into this, oh, if you're a feminist, you hate men. Or if you guys saw me on the Whatever podcast last Sunday, do you guys remember when Brian for 3 hours was like, feminists should be fighting to enlist women in the draft? That was like his favorite.
To enlist them or not?
He was saying it's not fair that men have to be in the draft and not women. And I said, I don't think anyone should be drafted. And like, we just went back and forth on this for a very long time. Okay.
I mean, if we could sit here, if that definition is true, then I support feminism. I don't consider myself a feminist because I don't feel like I'm not doing anything about it. I'm not like out there marching or boycotting anything.
I don't think you have to be doing something to be a feminist.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's a ton of reasons to boycott. I think that women have a lot of job opportunities out there nowadays. I've heard that the wage disparity has become a lot more even because there has been already a lot of fight back on that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what we're fighting for anymore. Like, oh, okay, like there's abortion rights. Yeah, in some places. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think feminism just fights against gender inequality. And one thing I always say is that can cut both ways. It's not just women that could be suffering. So
true.
An example I brought up the past weeks when I was talking about the Richard Reeves book of Boys and Men. So for instance, like if we had full gender equality and our culture just let people, or we lived in a culture where people were really choosing professions based on their interest, we would be seeing more female engineers and we would be seeing more male nurses. But because of our society, even women who are interested in engineering are less likely to go into it. Men don't go into the health, education, administrative, literacy jobs, those HEAL jobs. And some of that is because they don't have as much of an interest as women. But I think more men have an interest than what society has allotted men to do. Male teachers actually have a really big impact on young boys, and it's like a really
positive. Yeah, very true.
But like men are like, oh, I don't want to be a teacher. That's a girly.
Or they can't be a nurse. Like men being nurses. Sorry.
No, go for it. What's your favorite joke? I don't think I have a favorite joke. What was the last?
My cat is like clawing stuff.
Last movie I saw in theaters was Oppenheimer. Good movie. I literally just went by myself because everybody on Earth already.
The last movie. What's the last movie? I just saw a kid movie. Oh, The Little Mermaid.
The original or like the new one?
The new one.
Oh, as theaters, yeah. How did you feel about it? I saw that too. I saw that on a date.
I thought it was really cute, and I don't really care what color people's skin are.
Yeah.
On the movie.
I have never seen more grown men upset about Barbie and The Little Mermaid in my entire. You would think that like they grew up with Ariel and Barbie, and it's like
no. I mean, I get annoyed when I see, like, okay, it's not popular opinion, but I get annoyed when I see Cleopatra, who was Phoenician and of Greek origin, being played by somebody who's Black. Why? Because that's not historically correct. The Little Mermaid has no real history. I mean, it's a Greek myth, so yeah, they don't look.
When people Greek. Are like, well, the region that it's filmed in, I'm like, the ocean seems to have open borders.
Yeah, but like, just because I'm like I'm very much into like ancient Egyptian history, and so I just know that this is not accurate. And growing up reading books about Cleopatra and things like that, and the way that her family was described, it doesn't match. Just like if you watch Vikings, people get pissed about like the Vikings on the History Channel because they're like, this isn't historically correct. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, my thing is, as long like when people were mad about House of the Dragon and stuff, I'm like, these aren't real people. But I do get annoyed. Like, I don't know if you heard, but what is the actor's name that was in The Pianist? He's like a really popular actor, and he's playing a Jewish composer in an upcoming movie. Somebody say it in the chat. And you know what I'm talking about. He got into controversy because of it. And they're doing, what is it called? Like the not makeup, the like extra stuff that they'll put on someone's face to like age them, or prosthetics. Is that what it's called? And they're giving him a more pronounced nose because.
Is it Adrian Brody?
Yes.
He already has a huge nose.
I agree. But I guess I may be wrong on the actor, but I know that this is what's happening is he is getting like a little bit of a bigger nose in order to actually match the picture, the person that actually existed in history. And a lot of people were calling it anti-Semitic. Like, I think that's absurd. That's crazy. It's just, yeah.
It is what it is. Like, I have a Jewish nose. I'm half Jewish. I'm half Russian Jew.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. And if somebody.
Or is it a Persian nose? Who knows? Who knows?
I feel like I have a flat forehead, and if anyone ever makes a movie of me, let's round out whoever's playing me can have a round forehead.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the same? Yes, I do think the same thing applies for the flip side, but this is the same thing I feel about when people talk about racism or sexism. The systemic oppression of a group does play a role in how I feel about individuals subscribing to that system. So when it's not that I don't think reverse racism can exist, but I don't think it's the same thing because of centuries of oppression of a certain group and a system that was set up for so long to advantage one group, to give one group the advantage over the other. So when it comes to misogyny, men have held the majority of the social, political, and economic and religious power throughout history. That's what the patriarchy is. So I think that misogyny, or when men still hold that view, it's a little different than when women take it. That's why I do feel like there's a difference between white supremacy and black supremacy. You know, I disagree with them both, disavow them both, but I don't think they're exactly the same because I'm a hardcore pretty much consequentialist, and I don't think the impact is the same of those two viewpoints. But I'd like to know what you guys think. I'm behind in the chat though. What did you get started in sex working? I think kind of like what made us get started. So Lana, I've been talking for a while, so you can say what got you into sex work.
What got me started in someone told me I should do it, and once I felt like, okay, things are getting crazy here with COVID. I'm an accountant by trade, and pretty soon after, I realized most of the clients were just closing down, restaurants and bars mostly. Then I realized, okay, this is not stable money, so I had to just like go with the times, and the times said OnlyFans.
Was that in 2020?
That was the very, very end of 2020. I started like dabbling in it, but I didn't fully really get into it until middle of 2021.
Okay. That was kind of me too. I think July of 2020 or June of 2021 is when
That's weird because that's like the same time as me.
And then we met 2022.
We met early 2022. I think March
of 2022. Okay.
We started like chatting.
We had our anniversary.
Good night, Veronica.
Women tend to be much more emotionally intelligent, but men definitely don't hesitate to punch walls. Yeah, so when someone comes around and says men are more intelligent, like that's misogyny. Yeah, emotional intelligence and even regular intelligence. I mean, we've seen the curve of like men are more, so you could say men are dumber than women by that metric too, because more men will actually score on the low side of like IQ than women will. So and this is my least favorite thing about, there's a lot of things I don't like about the manosphere and shows like Fresh and Fit, but instead of talking about men's issues, they pin men and women against each other. Do men have it easier or do women have it easier? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first of all, you're not going to turn back the clock. It is what it is. We're here. We're going to stay. We're going to be in the workforce. We're kicking your ass in education. I think if anything, we can talk about how to level the playing field for y'all, but you're not going to put us back. And it's just a waste of time. This is how you lose the feminists, because the feminists have been fighting. They're like, hey, men, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional. Like feminists have been fighting, have been pushing that message for a while. And then you have these group of men that are like, well, fuck you guys. And it's like, okay. One day you should definitely do a stream reacting to Jubilee Middle Ground. Is that how you say it? I've seen the name, but I never knew how to say it. So
who is that?
It's like a YouTube channel that will put like it'll be like anti-sex or like anti-porn versus porn stars. And they will put us and we'll be like on two sides and they'll be like, step forward if you believe X. And then it's like a way to have a discussion and like the middle ground. Some of them are good. Some of the times I don't like who they bring on. Especially because I feel like in the beginning they brought on like regular people, and now they bring on like one side will be dominated with like political pundits and people who like do it for a living, social media personalities, and the other side will have like regular people. And I'm like, this isn't, you know. Can I see any collaboration between you two? We'll be doing, when I visit, we'll do like TikToks and like that kind of content, but we probably won't OnlyFans collab. We're too close.
Yeah.
It would be so weird. As you guys know, I think both of us. So as far as I know, Lana has only ever filmed like BG content or content with like a person she actually was just actually in real life having sex with. And me too. I've only ever filmed with a person I was actually having sex with in real life. I'm not into collabing with men or women in a sexual way that I'm not attracted to just for OnlyFans. That's
right.
Just like,
I mean, I don't judge. Like a lot of girls do that. That's great. Yeah. But I mean, maybe one day I will. Maybe I'll get so deep into this.
I'm not cool enough. Like I would feel so awkward. Like if I'm, that's the only issue with it for me.
Yeah, I've had like proposals. I've had a couple reach out to me. Couples reach out to me who do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And wanted to have me in their little thing. But I mean, it's like, oh, I don't. This is.
I would really have to be.
I do this. We do this for fun, like at the end of the day.
I know, but like I even think about like Lena and Adam and them, and I'm like, maybe it would be so good for my OnlyFans, but I'm like, I think I would be so. I think they would be like, we cannot film with you. You look serious. Because if I'm not comfortable sexually, I'm like a weirdo. I'm like,
it's gonna be obvious. It's gonna be obvious.
Exactly.
To it, and then it's not gonna be. Do you guys really want to see that?
Exactly. Palm Tree Killer, can't wait to see
They
you.
might say yes.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay, I switched. I knew I was messing up the name. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry is a great book. Okay, that's a book recommendation for me.
Okay.
If I had one day to live, I would put myself in a 1-day coma. Thank you. I feel like am I crazy for like not having the answer? Like I would tell my children I love them. I'm like, I mean, sure, but
like that too.
Yeah, might as well do brain killing drugs. Give me shrooms laced with coke and bath salts. The only thing I'd be afraid of is what if I'm not. I would still live my life in a way where if I don't die, I didn't just fuck up everything. Because people that are like, I would empty my savings. I guess if you know,
I would eat like all the seafood and the crab and the lobster with everyone I love and drink. I would just do all of it.
And it depends. Like, is it like literally like a countdown? Like tomorrow at 7:02 p.m. you are gonna just collapse? Like, I would have so many questions, guys. I would not be. I'm like a very, you know that like meme that was viral like years ago. It's like I'm not a ride or die chick. Where are we going? Why are we dying? Where are we riding to? That's me about all these hypotheticals. I'm so willing to engage in the hypothetical, but I have so many questions because it's going to affect my answer. Okay. It's scary when my friends that are girls think they can take down a grown man if he attacks her. Yeah, I've heard some women, and for majority, I think there are some women, like I think, that are stronger than some.
There's plenty of women who can take down a grown man.
You think so?
Oh yeah, like these women who train like MMA and stuff.
What does
I have taken down a grown man.
Okay. But I agree.
I'm not even trained in this stuff.
I agree with Sarmoon that women be careful. Your safety is first. And I would say be safe and don't try to take on.
I mean, I think we should all be carrying weapons. I definitely do myself. I'm not saying
What do you carry?
I carry a knife.
Okay.
I know I'm in Florida, so it's okay. I can just tote my gun around, but no, I don't. I have a kid, and it's I do have tasers. I have knives. I have these.
I have pepper spray.
Good. That's something.
But I don't know where it is.
I mean, we shouldn't walk around like I'm ready to fight anyone. Like, come on. We don't know if someone's going to surprise us, and
self-defense is something you want to learn, but I do think that the best route is to avoid the situation altogether. Unless you're what is it, Rhonda, whatever
like these, and it's more and more as women become empowered. They are learning martial arts, not just because to protect themselves, but also they just enjoy it. Like I grew up with brothers and fighting, and I like to fight. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to wrestle with my man and not like hit each other, but just like just for fun, just like whatever. Wrestling.
Do you think it's harder for men to get into sex work, and if so, why? Yeah, because the majority of the demand for sex work is men, and the majority of men like women. Not everybody. So for that reason, because the majority of the world, So because
I hear that most guys and even if they're straight, if they get into sex work, they still have to like cater to the gay guys and show their butthole and all that stuff. So
which is fine, but there are more men that are into women than there are men into men. Now I do think there's a lot more men into men than people think. But I still think that the scale is still unbalanced there. I also know a lot of the guys that do really well on OnlyFans, they do really well by having sex with women and then selling that to completely straight men.
It's all about marketing at the end of the day. Whoever is promoting and marketing is bringing the traffic to their page. Yeah. So, hey, maybe that woman isn't doing, like, he may do better than the woman in the video with him just because he's better at marketing on social media.
Yeah, a lot of it does have to do with marketing, but I will say if you look at like the top creators, like if you look at the top, they're like almost all women. Like they're not men or couples, which is interesting. But a lot of them are also celebrities and real feminism is about choice and consent. Exactly. Not hard, but I feel like feminism has just been hijacked by so many different
takes on it. Like, oh wait, no, it's this. And then it make some of these
radical like first, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. I'm like,
yeah, I don't even know what all this is. I didn't even hear about it until we were on whatever.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've heard about it. I'm not super, I don't have a ton of knowledge on every single wave of feminism, but I think a lot of anti-feminists, depending on who they are, like you, once you actually explain, like I tell you how I define it, I think any discussion on feminism needs to start with how we're defining it, because otherwise people are going to be talking about completely different things and it's going to be.
Yeah, like, and I definitely don't feel like women have a role and that's what they should do. Like, you should do what makes you happy.
That I would say you're not a feminist, but you just saying that it's okay for women to be traditional if that's what they choose, then I think by my definition, you're still a feminist.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm a feminist. But like, I definitely, can you be a feminist and still want to be a stay-at-home wife?
Yeah. Okay. I think as long as when you're a stay-at-home wife, you don't think all women have to be stay-at-home wives.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, some women should think that.
No, the women should. I mean, everyone should do what makes them happy at the end of the day, as long as it's not hurting or harming anybody else.
Yeah.
I
agree. There's different types of feminism, and it's important to be aware of that history in order to make a real positive change. Yeah, and most people aren't aware of that history. Even I'm not like super knowledgeable on every part of the feminist movement.
Yeah. See, and that's why I won't try to call myself a feminist, because then they're like, well, which kind are you? Like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, social, political, economic, equality of women. And if you have further questions, ask me and I will answer. And that's kind of.
I mean, we should be treated equally. If someone hires me to be their accountant versus a guy being the accountant, we should get paid the same. It's the same job. It's not a construction job where I can't lift as much as the next guy, so I can't work as fast and get as much done. No, I can get just as much done as a male accountant.
Yeah.
My experience more.
Women are just as capable as men in the workforce. So I would say that
depending on the
Brian, whatever, always does it is he goes, raise your hand if you're a feminist. He doesn't define it. So sometimes the women on the panel will say, can you define it? And then he'll define it in a way that's not like the way I defined it. And that kind of stumps him. But if he's like, who's a feminist? And then he'll jump to, so if women are the oppressed, are men the oppressor? Like he'll jump to that without defining feminism.
Yes, but that is true. Yeah.
Like feminism inherently hates men and thinks they're all predators and oppressors, and that's
true. Because he's setting it up so he can say that, but
we can say that, yeah. And like someone like me on the show would obviously give him a lot of pushback, but that's one of the things that's like one of his classic moves on his red pill, podcast is, oh, so then are men the oppressor? Are men the enemy? You fucking feminist? And it's like, not at all. I think you could say historically the system has propped up men, sometimes at the expense of women, but that I don't look at the whole male gender as oppressive or evil or any of those things. And so sometimes they try to pin it as that. So it makes so many women be like, okay, I'm not a feminist then because I don't hate men. Well, yeah, I think most feminists don't hate men. That's half of the fucking population. That's our friends, our brothers, our fathers, like, would these men be upset about Barbie and Little Mermaid if conservative media hadn't told them to be upset about it? Probably not as much. You are Kenough. Did you ever see Barbie?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So I wanted to take my daughter, and then everyone's like, no, it's not age appropriate for her. so I haven't went. How can I go to see that movie without
How
her?
old is she again? Your daughter?
5.5.
She probably wouldn't like get it. Like she'd be like, "Ooh, pretty Barbies." Like that's
I don't know. Well, you've seen it, so you could say that. But someone
Yeah.
said it's not for kids, so I'm like, okay, so I shouldn't bring her. Like, no.
I mean, there's no like sex scenes. There's no violence. When people say it's not for kids, what they mean is the message is too feminist for kids. But I think if, as a parent, if you can explain to her what you took out of the movie and the message you liked about the movie, then I don't think it's, to me, when something isn't age appropriate for kids, I'm thinking like extreme sex scenes, violence, gore. It doesn't have any of that unless I'm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A lot of the jokes, the adult jokes, are jokes that the kids wouldn't get anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there are those movies that have like innuendos in it that the kids would
That it
get,
does.
that it's like just adults would get.
Okay, maybe I should take her. I mean, she knows it exists. She knows it's out there. She loves Barbies.
I know her daughter's so cute. But let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm trying to catch up. We are like 13 minutes behind. I nominate Lana for Discord gang membership. Yeah, we have like a Discord. You should join it. I don't know if you have a Discord.
Oh, I don't. What does that mean though?
We have like a chat like on
Is it like with you, everyone here?
A lot of people here, maybe not every single person, but like a lot of them are in it. And we'll share like news, like anything, like sometimes things pertaining to sex workers, talk about like podcasts I'm going on. They have like watch parties. So they had a watch party for all of the ones I went on and the one we went on together.
Oh.
Yeah. But Lana's really busy. Lana's even busier than me. So sometimes can't get to, like, I can't see every message in the Discord. I just want it to be a community for like everybody to hang out, ask questions, whatever. Lana might literally never be on it because she is a single mom and
yeah.
But you're free to join, of course. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, send me the link.
Isn't emotional intelligence in women biological due to a thicker corpus callosum? I don't know.
That is definitely a question for Jasmine and not me.
Maybe a question for my moderator because I know he's the one with the big science background. I have seen studies that women in general are more emotionally intelligent on average, but men can be too. And emotional intelligence has a huge impact on job performance and job success. So people who say that women can do jobs, like Fresh and Fit's going to say that. So if they do, bring that up, that actually women CEOs of companies with women CEOs are also way less likely to go bankrupt. Yeah, these are all stats that I guess research that they don't do.
That makes sense. I've worked for like a lot of companies doing their books and handling that part of things, and I can say that a lot of them are male owned, and a lot of those male owned companies, these guys just they spend money on just such like frivolous things that aren't going to help the company at all. Like, sometimes I've had to just be like you are spending too much money. You're gonna have cash flow problems, dude.
And then they
like, what? I'm spending this much? Like they don't even know. And we have another accountant in the chat, D Hizzle, former accountant.
I didn't know D Hizzle did that.
But now you're doing okay. So I wonder, like, wow. I mean, accounting is so boring. Can you guys blame me for like going
being on OnlyFans? Even some people think being a lawyer is super exciting, and I'm still doing OnlyFans.
It's a bunch of paperwork too.
If you just want to see my boobs, join my OnlyFans at 8 p.m. You're just going to be disappointed time and time again by coming on this chat repeatedly to see something you're not going to see.
I know it's not the place.
I know you may be used to disappointment in your life, it seems, because you're just comfortable with it every week. But I've seen you in here multiple times asking to do this for the same thing. And I would want you to no longer be disappointed and actually get what you want.
It's literally $6.99 to go to her page.
And he spends hours in these chats just hoping for something that costs the price of a cup of coffee. If you don't want it, you don't want it. But you're
on the corner and collected $6.99 during this time to go pay for her page.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah.
If you want to panhandle,
Really go panhandle for $6.99.
if you need to do that.
Has soft white underbelly made your life better? I mean, yeah, I got some new people. I got some really great messages from that. A lot of it. Soft white underbelly has like an older audience too, as well as a younger audience.
Really?
Yeah. And so I expected to get more hate, but like the amount of like middle-aged moms, dads, like that live like in the middle of America that have messaged me like with so much support and telling me I inspire them and that the interview was really insightful for them has been like so sweet. So
Awesome.
really great.
I'm so glad that that's what came out of it.
Yeah. I follow another OF creator who does MMA trading at 5'4". She'd kick most guys' asses. I don't doubt it. My ex-girlfriend was a humanitarian and trip in Haiti and fought off a guy trying to kidnap her into a taxi. Oh, that's like my worst nightmare.
That's so scary.
So scary. I mean, I would fight like hell too. I was actually like a badass gymnast way back in the day.
Were you?
Now I'm like trying to, we're trying over here. I actually did upper body today with my trainer. I was charged by a woman that was 300 pounds. Not only did I barely budge, but I was able to shove her 15 feet backwards, and I was nowhere near 300 pounds to contest with her. Women, please don't overestimate your own strength, no matter your size or training, to think you could take on a man, unless it's Brad Williams. So my take on this, I do think some women are super strong, and I'm sure that they can get their way out of, they can fight their way out of so many situations. But yes, my general take is don't put yourself in situations because you could get hurt.
Yeah, it's just silly. Like, if for guys too.
For guys too, like none of us here are fucking 12 anymore. Like,
don't start fucking with the short guy because he's shorter than you, because he might take you out. I've seen it happen so many times.
And also, let's not be juvenile anymore. We're all adults,
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's like self-defense or in defense of another person, I don't really think there are good reasons to physically harm each other.
Yeah. I mean, we have to be grown-ups now. Like, I used to get in fights and like little altercations when I was younger. And I was like, this is fun. You want to fight me? Okay.
And now you're
like, and now I'm like, I am not going to jail for you. Okay. Anger management. No, thank you.
Exactly.
No.
I was never a fighter. I was always like, listen, I didn't even know at the time that my looks would be such a valuable asset to me in the future. But even then I was like, wait a second. What if you fuck? No, thank you. Lana, what are you most looking forward to being on the Fresh and Fit podcast?
What am I looking forward to? Why am I doing this?
The subscribers.
New subscribers, putting I'm marketing my business while I'm on there. I have watched plenty of Fresh and Fit to know that there's some perspectives that they haven't heard yet, and maybe I can give it to them. Maybe I can't.
A lot they haven't heard yet. And so, is there you? Because I wanted to go to grow my business too and my exposure, but I also like genuinely wanted to push back on their stupidity. Like I wanted to. Like
there's a lot of things that they say that just okay. So one thing that I was listening today, I have to bring this up. Okay. So they're like, women just get by in their looks. They don't have to do anything to be valued, right? That whole thing that they always say. Then they come out and say, yeah, everyone, including themselves, just wants a woman who's like fertile, attractive, and young.
Young, loyal,
I'm like,
low body count.
Right. So, okay, if you value a woman being young, fertile, and pretty, and then you get angry that women feel lazy to do anything, they just rely on their looks, they don't have to work hard. You created that monster. Like, you're the one valuing that. You're the one making women be that way.
Is they say men have it so much harder than women, but then they say that women, our characteristics that make us valuable are pretty much immutable, which doesn't, so like an ugly whatever man can go to the gym and he can get rich because that matters. But if you're like a 50-year-old woman, in their eyes, like there's nothing you can do to be valuable, and now your life sucks. Like it's so contradicting, because on one hand they're like, women have it so easy. It's like, well, really what you're only saying is that young fertile women have it easy, and that's not the majority of women.
But then they're complaining that they have it easy, but then they're saying that's
what they want.
What they want. So you're giving this mentality to the women that all they have to do is be young and pretty. Then you're getting mad about it.
They attract the same kind of women they complain about. So there was a great study done, and it actually talked about benevolent and hostile sexism. And they did 2 studies, one on a college campus and one on the general population. And they used like the pickup artist, which was like the red pill before the red pill, the Gain, Neil Strauss, like the same techniques that these guys say works on women. And they tried it on a bunch of women, and guess which women it worked on? It worked on women who were themselves high in hostile sexism. So they believed, yeah, women are manipulative, blah, 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 because they are manipulative. Women who were also high in sociosexuality, which means that they actually were more likely to have one-night stands and didn't want as much of a connection with sex. So they complain about women being sluts, whores, opportunistic, but the tactics they use attract opportunistic whores. And they say this is all women. They say, oh, this is just how women are. This is how they operate. But studies have shown that that's not how actually most women operate. But the way you guys interact with women is going to attract those kind of women. And then you guys are too stupid to realize you're doing it to yourself.
You're attracting this.
Yeah, you're attracting the same women that then you're complaining about. And you don't know that that isn't all women, because the other women don't fucking like your bullshit. So
no,
very fucking, like, especially them, like they're always like, this is how you get women. I'm like, do you know how you have to be a very particular kind of woman to want to interact and have relations with a man who gets online and says women are inferior? Like, that's not hot to like any of us, unless you're like 19 and need your rent paid. Like, I don't know.
That's why they're attracting girls. Yeah.
So, hello, Jazz. How are you doing this evening? My question for you for the night: don't you think feminism kind is pushing back the family dynamic that we had originally, where the woman stayed at home and took care of the house and the children, and the man of the house brought home the money and is protector and provider? I would like to hear your honest thoughts and opinion. And don't you think that men are seeking a woman who will bring him peace? So, as to your first point, I don't think it's a bad thing if we change our societal conception of what a family is supposed to look like. I don't think there's anything wrong with the nuclear family, but I think there are many other kinds of families that can still be happy and healthy, and everybody, including children, can still thrive. We've seen studies that even co-parenting, if you co-parent correctly, those kids actually end up doing just as well as other kids. Non-resident fathers, we talked about this. It's not about whether the father is in the home with you. It just matters that the father is spending time with the child and the relationship that they have. I think what makes a happy and healthy home isn't that the dad is the breadwinner and the mom isn't working. I think it has to do with the kind of relationships you have, trust, communication, understanding. Those are the things that make a good household, not who's doing what role. I don't know if, Lana, you want to add anything to that, or if you have.
No, I agree with that. The parents, for your kids to be happy, you need to be a happy parent.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. If you're a miserable person and you have kids, your kids are going to feel all that and have to deal with the repercussions of your dissatisfaction and your, unhappy.
Yeah, I think it's changing for the better, right? I even use this example for whatever podcast. Like, there are gay couples who adopt kids, and those kids end up fine because they have resources, they're educated. Like, it doesn't matter, how your family is set up. It matters who you are and what you provide for your children and for each other. No, the Discord server is free. I'm going to ask that. DM me on Instagram if you want to join, or my moderator will send you a link. I think a huge misunderstanding of the patriarchy is that all men are beneficiaries of the patriarchy. It's crucial to show men how patriarchy hurts men the same way toxic masculinity does. Yes. As Ken said in the Barbie movie, when I realized the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I kind of didn't want to do it anymore. Ken was Ryan Gosling in it, played Ken, and he was such a lovable character. I would say it's age appropriate.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna wear my pink and go.
I wore a pink set and I went with my trainer and she wore pink and we're like, hi. And as soon as we came, they're like, okay, 2 for Barbie. We're like, how'd you know we were going to see Barbie?
Oh my god. Just throw them off. Actually, I'm here for whatever. I don't even know what other movies are out.
I feel like Oppenheimer and Barbie are the 2 big ones, unless I'm missing one. And one's come out really popular since then. I don't watch like the Marvel ones or the superhero ones. So I'm never in the know for what comes out for those. Do either of you watch porn?
Yeah.
I do. Not very often, though.
I actually have a video that I just made of me watching it.
I've done that before too. So if I do watch porn, I like amateur.
I was just like, whatever's coming up right now. I'm just clicking on different things.
I like real couples.
You see this?
I don't like scenes of like the lights and the oil and you know what I'm saying. I just
when it's way too like produced.
Extreme. Yeah, when it's like produced like in a studio.
And you're like, are they even enjoying themselves or they're just acting? I know it's
yeah, and then like I don't have sex the way those women have sex, where they're like just sucking dick for like I don't do that. So that's not the kind of sex I've ever had in my life. So to me, it's just unrealistic. And I like to see like a couple just getting down in the bedroom, just 2 regular people fucking. That turns me on if I'm gonna watch porn. I don't like the super overproduced stuff.
I feel you. I can relate to that for sure. Not that I get chances to, not even get chances to watch porn that much. I mean, I do when I do, but we're so engulfed in it all the time.
Yeah, I will admit that I used to not be able to watch my own sex tapes, but a couple of them will turn me on, but I have to watch them on mute because I hate the way I sound. It's like hearing yourself on like a voicemail. Like you're like,
oh, I know. I don't like hearing that.
Especially with sex. Like in the moment, you're like, oh, my moaning is so hot, and then I play it back. I'm like, you sound like you're.
I know when someone tells me like, oh, you're moaning, I'm like, oh.
I know. I'm like, oh. And so I have to watch it on mute, or else I get turned off by myself. So. So D Hizzle says that he was an accountant in the private equity industry. So niche. The only thing that broke up the monotony. Yeah. Oh my God. Of quarter end was the year end and having to deal with auditors. The top tier auditors do not get the PE engagement. So, or get the, at night. This is really bright. I'm actually going to turn this down.
Like yeah, that sounds really exciting. Not, I was, I was thinking of starting to do like taxes on the side, and I'm like, wait,
do taxes for OnlyFans girls. I actually had a really nice, sweet girl reach out to me.
That's what I was gonna do, but then I'm like,
do you recommend starting an LLC? And I'm like, I did initially, and now it's like an S corp. But these are questions that I only know the answer to because of what my fucking CPA said. But like, you might actually know about this stuff. So
yeah,
I think there's business in it for you.
After you make a certain amount, you should switch to an S corp.
Yeah, so you can like.
Yeah, I might do it. Let's see how things go because it'll be kind of nice to keep my brain alive.
Yeah, and like have sharpen those skills. That's why I try to do some pro bono law stuff, and still like, read up on that.
You do it anyways for your friends.
I know. I'll like still do people's like the kind of area I practice in. I will I'm doing a whole thing for my friend in Florida, but even though I'm like, you need a Florida attorney to look at this because the laws may be different, I can at least draft it and then they can look at it. I literally switched majors from business administration to psychology because accounting bored the hell out of me. I've never even dabbled in accounting. I just knew I would find it boring. I love the subjects that like don't have any concrete. Like I'm like, let's discuss philosophy and ethics. Like nothing that actually can, like, it's a concrete job. Like, everyone makes fun of philosophy majors. Philosophy majors are brilliant. They actually score the best on the LSAT, which is like a test to test your logical reasoning. But I get that it's not concrete, but I get to fucking use my tits to make money, and then I can talk about philosophy and philosophy on it.
Exactly.
Fuck you guys.
Just kidding.
Lovers for life. I majored in psych, but I took a lot of, like, I think I minored in law, but when you were minoring in law, you could like pick the classes, and I took philosophy of law. I took as many philosophy classes as I could for my degree possible, like legal jurisprudence.
What can a philosophy major do besides like going to like law or something?
Become a YouTuber. I love some of the YouTube philosophy channels. It's hard, right? And it's not like the old days where like philosophers, you know, were like in the upper echelons of society writing books and whatever. I mean, to a point you still can. I think you could get into academia. So like if you love philosophy, you could become a professor and stuff. But yeah. I mean, let me know. I'm sure there are jobs, but I can't think of them.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in the comments.
I'm trying to like go in order, so
there's a lot. There's a really good. You got a really good crowd here.
I know I've built it up. These are the best people ever. Like, they come on my live after, and we get freaky. How cool is that? They'll start like tipping, and they're
intellectual like conversations, and then move it over to like getting freaky.
I know. So you guys should show Lana love on her lives too. She's not doing it after, so you don't have to pick tonight, but she goes live more in the day, I noticed. Also, she's 3 hours ahead of me, so maybe it's night for her, but it's day for me.
Yeah, I do usually do my dress hauls on TikTok, which are famous.
Yes, her dress hauls. I'm so jealous because Lana has one of those nice like bodies, like she still has like curves, but
do you hear her?
Crop dresses like on and off. If I was trying to squeeze in and out of dresses, I would just be panting and crying.
But don't worry, because actually it wouldn't come up as, you know, I'm only like
because I can't go down or up.
Like when you leave the camera to go switch outfits and it's just sitting there looking at an empty room, I don't know why, but every time I come back, there's more viewers looking at an empty room. I don't know.
Maybe because they're looking at the comments, and the comments are like, "Ooh, she's trying on a dress," and they want to stay and wait for it. But I think I would lose 200 pounds doing that because I would be in and out of dresses, and I have trouble on both ends. So it's like I look at dresses, I'm like, do we go or we do it? It's a fucking it's a mess. The concept of value is based within the sexual market. Women from the day they turn 18 can attract men. Well, first of all, they can under 18. This is something the red pill ideology, one of the reasons it's so fucking gross is because women under 18, and there's been studies that actually a lot of men find women that are 16, but like they don't say that because of society. So if the thing you value is youth, beauty, and fertility, then why not like a 17-year-old? It's, you know.
Yeah, that used to be normal. When things were
women from the day they turn 18 can attract men and get opportunities from high status, high value men without producing anything. Men cannot do that. Like you pointed out, men have to build and change themselves to be attractive to women. We have to create our value while you're born with a huge difference, and nobody's mad about that. It just is what it is. Okay, well, you guys think like you guys are, I'm gonna be honest, red-pilled men are fucking pussy ass bitches because they're sitting there jealous. They're like, 18-year-old women can go on a yacht, and if I want to go on a yacht, I have to buy a yacht. Like, this is what you're sitting there complaining about not being able to go on a yacht. Like they say, men used to go to war and fucking get blown into smithereens, and you're sitting on your ass like, she gets to go on a yacht and I don't. Like, it's not a you don't fucking like, it's just, you guys are losers. I'm sorry. People who are upset that women get to attract high value men that take us to restaurants. This is not what life is about. People have been so horribly disadvantaged in our history because of their skin color, because of their gender, not being able to vote, being enslaved. And you guys are sitting there like, well, they get to go on yachts and I have to buy a yacht to go on a yacht. Like, And most women aren't even doing like this red pill space is so fucked up. Like the infamous Sneeko line of 40% of college women are getting flown out to Dubai. What fucking psychosis are you suffering from that you think it's 40%? It's like 2%, not even. It's probably like under 1%. I personally didn't know a single girl in college who got flown out to Dubai by a millionaire. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't think they think it's like a huge benefit for these women to get to do these things. But I mean,
Such a
if
small
they,
percentage of women, and it's like in the social media space, and it's not that fucking cool. You guys are jealous of something
and what
that
is their life going to really be like? Like, what is the reality of that situation if they marry one of these high value or rich men? You think their life is just going to be perfect?
I know women that are now doing my lashes, that are now doing my hair, that did this, and then the husband cuts off the credit card or starts sleeping with someone else,
Yes.
cheating on them, and now they're up my ass. How do I start an OnlyFans? And they're like,
Yeah, you told me about
so many women like that.
for
So
sure.
many women like that who are now fighting. Oh, can you hook me up with a divorce lawyer because I'm a lawyer? The amount of women who are like, I want to divorce him, but I need to get the money, or I don't have any money, or blah, blah, blah. And these are those women that got married young to these high value. Like, this is what you're jealous of. And now they're just like, how do I start an OnlyFans? How do I start? Please teach me. Please.
I know, because now they're in like
Now they're like, maybe it wasn't a great idea to put all my cards into one basket. And this is the type of person that person is.
yeah, and you're expected to just deal with all whatever this guy dishes out to you.
Exactly.
Because he pays for everything. So you should just deal with it.
Yeah.
But I think my IG is pinned, or my
Go if you look at her, the comment, the top comment on the thing, it should be pinned. I don't know if we can also put up a banner. My moderator maybe can, but it's literally Lana Bhad, LANABHAD.com, and that'll have all her links.
Yeah. It's bad like Bad Baby. Not that I'm like a Bad Baby fan, but
I always say it Bhad, baby.
Bad. Bhad. Lana Bhad.
Lana Bhad. Everyone thinks Jasmine Jafar is a play on Aladdin, but Jafar is just a common like Middle Eastern last name. But people always think that I'm trying to.
And first name. That was my grandfather's name, is Jafar.
But only Middle Eastern people know that. So all like non-Middle Eastern people think I like picked it because I'm talking about the villain in Aladdin and my name is Jasmine. I'm like, okay, I mean, sure, go for it, but
like no.
Okay, so the pin comment timed out, but it's back now. So my moderator just said that it's back up. You guys should go and follow her. Get with the times. We have moved out of these archaic notions of how men and women have sex based on societal expectations, never going back to the traditional model. Yeah. Not.
Which one was that?
There people are going back and forth talking about our I'm looking at 7:30 right now. So we are 8 minutes behind.
You're catching up.
I'm catching up. I'm trying to because I
minutes.
When I hate when I like am watching somebody's live and I type a comment and they're still like so far up. But I want to like talk about everything.
You want to like it, yeah.
As also, if you go back far enough, traditional marriages and relationships were just business transactions, trading daughters for business relations or alliances. Yeah, literally. And a lot of times that's why the hypergamy myth is so stupid. It's actually funny. This was a study that Destiny sent me, where I knew that hypergamy was on the decline, but I just took it as like, oh, okay, yeah, in the past hypergamy was a thing, but honestly it wasn't. A lot of times people married and mated in their class, and that makes sense. I mean, a lot of society even had like a caste system, and you like could only be with someone on your level. Like if you're royalty, you have to marry other royalty. If you're a peasant, you can't marry royalty. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
Cinderella is a nice fairy tale, but it's not the norm of history.
Right. That's why it's a fairy tale.
Yeah. This idea that women were all like, going from men way above them in status and all that is not true.
That's a newer thing. That's actually really new, because even if you go back to my grandparents' times,
yeah,
like they were very, very judgmental and like snobby about marrying, poorer or whatever wasn't in the same class as them.
Yeah, like, oh, they come from a good family. We come from a good family. They're educated. We're educated. That's how my parents met. Like, it wasn't.
Right.
I was walking in the street and the Starbucks barista was so hot and I'm a billionaire and we got married. That's why these guys freak out when they see people like Jeff Bezos like marry like a 50-something-year-old. They're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, he could marry a 19-year-old, but he's not a fucking psychopath. So why would he do that?
He wants to marry someone he can have a conversation with.
Not in
when
that
you live with somebody and you're married to them, you want to talk to that person and be able to, have a grown-up conversation.
Yeah. I think you can argue for him being psycho, but not in this way. Lana, we already saw that one. Interesting. Instead of addressing the point, it's mock with voice changing and accusations of whining. Oh, it's just reality. Nobody's complaining or being angry about it. I don't think it's reality, though. I don't think it's reality that women, their value is in the marketplace. I don't think so. I can tell you right now, the men that like me, they think I'm hot, but they are like the men I've dated. If you just thought I was hot, you would get sick of me in like 2 weeks because I fucking talk. You guys know I talk your ear off. I want to do like, they actually like that. Like, they like to talk to me. That's their favorite thing about me, like, is my mind. And so my value, that part of my value stays with me as I get older. I don't get dumber necessarily. And so I don't think of woman's sole value is in the things that the red pill community is telling you. And it's just a very black and white way of looking at things. So that is the answer to your argument. Plus the stats do bear this out that, or studies have borne this out, the work of Corinne Lowe, showing that nowadays men actually do rate women as more attractive, the more money they make. That intelligence is something that both genders look at as a necessity, not just a luxury when it comes to dating and so forth.
I know, like for a moment, I was on these dating apps and so many of these guys' profiles, it's like, if she can make me laugh. And I mean, I'm not on the profiles now, but a lot of guys value a woman who can make them laugh.
Yeah, they enjoy spending.
And you got to be smart to be able to make somebody laugh.
Red-pilled men don't even like to hang out with the women that they're around. That's why they say they like to live with other men. It's like the most, like, they're so homophobic, but it's the gayest shit in the world.
They're so fucking alpha that even other men are women to them, so they fucking fuck them too.
They're like, oh, we want to live with other men, and we like when the women don't talk and they don't speak and they just have sex with us and clean our dishes. It's like, okay, well, yeah, because you're picking women that you don't like to be around because they're stupid, because that's what you're saying. You're saying you don't care about intelligence, and these are the kind of women you end up with. They're like, I don't want to hear about my star signs. I'm like, okay, I mean, so clearly you've never been around women like me because we don't like you, because I never in my life have sat there and been like, are you a Sagittarius? That's not me, and that's not a lot of women.
I am. No, I really am.
How can I be in Discord again? Moderator, some of the, obviously not the crazy ones, but the other ones that want to be in Discord, can you send them the link? I think you are conflating a very public-facing lifestyle that is posted on social media as a majority instead of seeing that is most likely a small minority of how women live their lives. Thank you, Drizzle. I seriously thought Jazz chose her name, so if people Google her pics, they'll get Disney ones protecting your income. No, that is, I'm thinking no such thing.
Her name is actually spelled differently than the Disney character.
Yeah. Okay, they're going back and forth. The only things I could find was a Vogue article from 2017, other articles representing that piece. It's also hyper-specific with young men under 26. So I was telling Lana this. So there's been studies out that show that men who want children do want rate those younger, more fertile women as more attractive. But interestingly, men who already have children or men who don't want children actually preferred women in their age range. I love Jasmine's mind. Very
another win for me.
So he's using an OkCupid study. So one on these dating apps, I think the ratio of men to women is 5-1, which is why a lot of the stuff you see on these dating apps, like 80% of women are swiping on 20% of men, blah, blah, blah. But then when you look at it in real life, how people are actually having sex and mating, none of that actually bears out in real life. It's not that 20% of men are having sex with 80% of the women. I mean, it is, but also if you flip it, 20% of women are having sex with 80% of men, which basically what it really is saying is there's 20% of people that are just more promiscuous and everybody else is just not. So I'm sorry. A lot of this stuff is just bullshit. Jasmine, the creators I subscribe to are the ones who are authentic and provide great conversation. Most have mom bods and aren't what fresh and fit guys would consider attractive. Yeah, the fresh and fit guys, their brains, they're fresh has the fucking intelligence of like a small reptile. Like I don't understand how he hosts a show. And they're like, oh yeah, here's like something that may have a grain of truth in the sense of women's physical attractiveness is more important than a man is when it comes to mating, and women who are younger R-rated is more physically attractive, but they'll take that and they'll be like, okay, this is all that matters ever in the world. And then you actually look at and you look at studies and this isn't true. It's funny because when they're actually confronted with it, these red pill guys, Michael Sartine, Rollo Tomasi, when they're confronted with academics like Richard Reeves, who are advocating for men, but they're like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. What you guys say men are looking for isn't what most men are looking for. And I have XYZ's data. Then they just sit there. Rollo just sits there and Michael's like, yeah. Like,
I'm like, these guys live in Miami. And Miami is a different place than most places. They live in Miami where there's just like prostitutes everywhere.
Yeah.
Like everyone's in the nightclub industry. There's tons of rich people and people trying to get their money. And
yeah, when I went on Fresh and Fit, we started at like 10 and Fresh goes, oh, let's try to wrap up so we can hit the clubs. And I'm like, there's
plenty that was like on a Friday.
Like me, like you, like plenty of other people who don't even go. Like they are talking about the Miami club scene and pretending that that's everybody else and the social media scene. Like, and they're not what they pretend to be. They're corny. I posted the DM Myron sent me in Discord. If anyone's getting advice from this guy who was like calling me disagreeable and all this for like 3 hours and then was in my DMs like, hey, I think you need a non-liberal man to keep you in check, winky face. Like, and I don't split checks. I'm like, there's no way.
Who said that to you? Which one?
Myron fucking DM'd me that, trying to fuck me. Basically, he's like, are you still in Miami? Oh my God. Like, I think you need to be kept in, like, in what universe did you think I was
But you're older than 24, so why is he doing that?
I just
know like 18 to 24 year old.
He have a better line. Like it literally looks like he went on like he did like a workbook for how to hit on women and like came up with like pickup lines are just stupid. Guys who use pickup lines aren't doing very well with women, in my opinion. And Myron is one of them. Myron slid in my DMs right away and used the worst pickup line ever. And I'm like, there is no way that you are telling men how to hit on women because this is atrocious. Jasmine, how do you feel about the Barbie movie being a huge symbol of feminism / anti-patriarchy and the most popular song from the film being the only one about men? Ken song? Okay, the Ken song is fire. Okay. I'm just Ken. Anywhere else I'd be a 10. I don't think, I think people took the movie way too seriously. Like, I think it's just a fun movie. Yes, it has a message, but it's not like people are like, oh my God, like it's a movie. You know, I don't understand why people are losing their minds over it. And I think it's good that Ken was such a lovable character in the movie because again, we don't hate men and we don't want them. We didn't want to paint Ken as a villain. I wouldn't like it if that was the case. Thank you, Jasmine, for making the point about how information is a study is collected. It's super important to know the methodology and detailed statistics of the study. Yeah, so you want to look at if it's peer reviewed, if it's been replicated, et cetera, et cetera. Pulling stats from dating apps when dating apps are so uneven anyway. There is one woman for like 5 men. So obviously they're like, and then they're like, oh my God, women are getting way more swipes than, of course, you know? And then we're looking at real life, and real life partners actually don't seem to match with people match with people on dating apps, but that doesn't mean they're dating them or hooking up with them, etc.
Right.
The majority don't. I've probably matched with like a bunch of most of them I don't even talk to ever again. My moderator says people don't get that the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. That's how I viewed it. Like I viewed it as like, oh, it's like making like a joke about patriarchy, not in like a way of like they're making fun of it because they don't like it, but not even necessarily in the way that this message is like shoving it down your throat. I thought of it as just like funny. Like I thought it was a funny movie. Like the way that the message was relayed is like a happy-go-lucky way. I don't know how anyone could be angry after seeing Barbie.
I hope not.
I
know people were talking shit, and Margot Robbie's not even that hot. Like, have you seen her?
The Margot Robbie mid arc was so stupid, especially coming from the men that it was coming from.
Like, you could never get her, but she's mid.
You could never get a woman half as hot as Margot Robbie. So if my thing is, a guy who thinks Margot Robbie is mid spends no time in the real world and is online looking at hot porn stars all the time. So he's comparing it to that, because in real life, if you actually interact with normal women, Margot Robbie is a fucking goddess. Okay.
I know.
I think she's stunning. She's wow. My big takeaway from trying to read and dissect these studies is that I need to brush up on stats. When I took stats, we were less than a year into the Iraq war. Yeah, I'm not super like when they're like, I do the ANOVA and all this. Like, I'm not super knowledgeable exactly on that. But what I look for is, okay, what was the methodology? What was the sample size? What were the results? What were the limitations? Because when you see things that, like, for instance, divorce statistics on divorce affecting men and women are more likely to have their standard of living decrease after. Women are hit harder financially after divorce. This is something that the stats have been replicated year after year after year after year after year. Long studies been like, it's just established. Other things are like really shaky. You know, there's like a study done, like the one on rodents. It's been like one study that the rodents don't even the researchers are like, why is the manosphere taking this study? Like, this isn't even what the conclusion
about rodents.
I die when I see that the researchers of a study, when they're asked to comment on like the manosphere taking it, and they're like, yes, please stop. Like, I don't know where you got the conclusion that you got, because that's not even what this study was about. I was angry because there was not as much beach as I wanted. Ken beaches really hard, and there wasn't enough beach. So Ken is Barbie's in the dream house, and Ken is on the beach. I don't want to spoil it for Lana. I came up a little bit after, like, I had Barbies growing up, but when I was like old enough, I was all about the Bratz dolls and the Polly Pockets. Did you?
Okay, I had that too, Polly Pockets. Bratz was not. That's after, but.
And now it's like American Girl doll, I heard. I don't know.
I don't know. My daughter plays. She doesn't play with that thing. It's still Barbie. Barbie's still the one.
Okay. I loved Bratz, and they had the huge heads and like 30
eyes. And
I was like, Yasmin. There's one with her name was Yasmin, and that was my favorite. Chloe. I still remember. Margot Robbie is gorgeous, just not my preferred body type. That's fine. I hate to objectify her that way, but it is what it is. Yeah, no, I'm not saying, but people who are like, she's just like, every girl looks like her. I remember there was an episode of Whatever where Brian said that this, like, he pulled up Gal Gadot and Margot Robbie, and he said most like average women look like that. I'm like,
what? That's who I always, when I'm on TikTok, maybe the lighting is different, but I always get compared. Everyone comes on saying, you look like Gal Gadot, which people in my family told me too. Or Ratatouille lady. The chef in Ratatouille.
I get Lana Del Rey, which is really weird. I don't think I look like Lana Del Rey. Selena Gomez.
No, not Selena Gomez. She's got
her face is
more Lana Del Rey than Selena Gomez.
And then there's like a girl named Azzyland that is like a YouTuber.
Oh, you showed me her.
Yeah, she actually looks like me. I will give them that.
Mm-hmm.
My moderator said he's still haunted by Bratz commercials. Bratz commercials were amazing for me when I was a kid. I was like, Mom, look, they have a new outfit. I need. Wait, did you have Build-A-Bear?
Me?
Yeah. Like,
No,
I
my
don't know if
kid
these are
does.
still a thing. Are Build-A-Bears still around? You would literally go into
Yeah,
the mall
they're
and you
still
would
there.
pick a bear and then you could buy them outfits. And my mom was like, why am I paying like $100 for a new outfit for your bear? And I'm like, yeah. Jasmine, you are a total Bratz doll minus the big head. I know they had like the biggest head.
No,
And
I think I have one here from like my niece.
oh, okay. Yes, they are. Okay. So Build-A-Bears are still around. A mall, I once heard about those. I hate going to
Uh,
a mall now. I'll only go if I have to. Like the
you
other
only you
day,
don't have kids if you don't know malls. You have to take your kids to the mall.
that's
That's
true. That's true. But
nothing
the
else to do, and there's a playground in there.
other
It's
wanted
raining outside.
Bath and Body Works, and I just put it in my phone, and it took me to the one in the mall, and I turned around. I was like, I'm
You're like, I am not stepping
not
foot.
like walking through the mall to go to Bath and Body Works. I want a standalone Bath and Body Works.
Right.
I saw an interview with American Ferrera, and she was saying that men are allowed to keep their childhood normalization of men playing video games / man caves, but women are taught to grow up and start learning how to do chores. Was this the experience you had growing up? Do you agree with it? It was definitely not my experience. I never did chores.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
What about you? But I'm an anomaly. Like my parents never they were never like my mom, especially because my mom is who she is and she's a lawyer and she is all about like women making their own money, being independent. She was like pushing me and my sister to do that, get good grades. Like her number one thing was grades. Our parent teacher conferences were like, I would be like having a panic attack because that is when she would actually yell at me. She would never yell at me because I didn't know how to do chores. I wish my parents did try to get me to do more chores though, because now I don't know how to fucking do basic shit. So, what
I
about
need
you?
to teach you how to cook, and you need to teach me Farsi.
Yeah,
'Cause
I don't know.
so good. I don't know. I grew up in a really dysfunctional household. Like we moved around a lot, so sometimes I had chores, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes we didn't even have like furniture,
Oh,
like
yeah,
from moving and whatever. But no, it wasn't like I was raised by like a single mother. I mean, sometimes she was single, sometimes she was married. So she wasn't like, you need to do,
your
you need,
chores.
yeah, she wasn't teaching me traditional roles because she
Yeah.
wasn't in.
I don't know how many households where there's like brothers and sisters, that, especially in America. Maybe I'm not. I would say that I'm glad that in the West, I don't think as many families are like telling their boys, "You go outside and play, but you stay here and wash the dishes."
No, that's
Yeah,
not happening.
but people do that in Iran, where we're both Persian. That's still a thing. Like the men never go in the kitchen, and the women know how to bring the tea and cook and stuff. My parents were never like that. They never. They were too much the other way, which is why I
Why they had to leave. Yeah. And
yeah, because and my dad like would never like if I like lifted a spoon, he's like, "Oh, my princess, put it down."
yeah, and I like what he said. We need to dismantle the patriarchy so more women will play video games with us. So I used to play video games with my daughter's dad. We played video games. I was like a level like 60 wizard on Diablo, and like I mean, I would try to play some of the other games with him. I'm like, I grew up playing video games with my brother.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, it should like we should all be able to do whatever makes us happy.
Yeah. And I would. Oh my god, why are you calling me? We were just on the stream. Every fucking time. I'm actually pissed. Okay. Bro, what are you doing? Okay. I'm actually gonna yell at him. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, it would bore me to death too. I was just reading that comment because like these guys say they just want a woman who obeys them and does what they want and serves them, and her happiness is his happiness.
Yeah.
Like you want a fucking robot.
Yeah.
It just pleases me to please you. Yes, master. You want like a slave, a servant. That's not a partner.
My Yeah, no, sorry. Someone said, who's calling you? Palm Tree Killer, who always is in here in the beginning and then leaves and forgets I'm on a stream. But yeah, no, I actually wish that I could play video. I want to learn how to play them because I didn't grow up playing them. But I think that my personality type was that if I was like a boy and I felt like it was like the thing to do to play video games, I think I'd be really into them because I'm nerdy like that. And I'm
We gotta figure out which game you would enjoy. That's the only thing. We got to figure that out.
Yeah. All right. It is 8:00. So we're going to move this over to the Fun Live. If you want to see some titties, go over there. Make sure you sub to Lana. Let's throw it at the bottom of the chat one more time. All her links. If you go to her website, you'll see her OnlyFans, her Instagram. What else? TikTok. I think you're going to start up YouTube soon again.
I have so many TikTok accounts and Instagram.
Yeah. But follow her on.
Make sure you guys watch me on Fresh and Fit tomorrow.
Yes. Fresh and Fit tomorrow.
In the comments, because you guys are cool in the comments, and like they're gonna have a lot of assholes in their comments. So I need some people on my side.
Guys, what do you guys think about a Discord watch party for Lana on Fresh and Fit? I think we should do that because I'll actually be free tomorrow night. I'll be traveling the next day, but I'll be free tomorrow night, and we're gonna watch, and I'm gonna get on. I have to go on Rumble, or I don't know if they're going to do it on YouTube because they're demonetized on YouTube, but it seems like they're still posting. They're just not getting paid. So hopefully we can fuck up these assholes.
I know what's going to be cool is next time you're here and we go on Fresh and Fit together, because you'll have been once by yourself and then me once by myself, and then we can go together.
We're going to single-handedly dismantle the fucking red pill.
Double-handedly, because you and me.
Perfect. Do you go live at the same time every day? So I usually go live Mondays on my OnlyFans. Lana has a different schedule. I don't know what her schedule is.
I don't know. Just if you really want to see my dress lives or anything, just
she does a good job of scheduling her streams.
Follow me.
Yeah, on her.
Do I? I did it like one. I do my best. I'm trying to get better at scheduling and putting things up on like my main Instagram, which is the one she posted.
Okay.
So yeah, just keep up if you want to follow me. Either way, I got to hang out with my girl tonight and see.
I know. Thank you so much.
Your names on here that I've missed.
Thank you so much for coming on. Yes, I'm gonna watch you tomorrow. You're gonna kill it tomorrow. We're so excited, and everyone give Lana a follow. You will see me on her socials and me and her on mine in the future. And yeah, so love you, Lana. We love Lana.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye, guys.